This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by Patrick, the man with the only dogs that I will willingly pet.
Yes.
It's
I'm
true.
honored. I'm honored. They're fun dogs.
They are. This is episode 105,
Yep.
and we're going to be talking about all the gaming news. If you haven't been with us before, then this is the right place to get all of the gaming news for this week. We're up on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, iTunes, all those different places.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook so you get the most up-to-date stuff, because we can't do this show every single day as much as we'd like to. So we'll tweet out news as well throughout the week. And this show is to give you a roundup of the most interesting news, gaming news of the week, because a lot of times there's a lot of news, stuff you may miss, and we want to give you that in a really easy-to-digest formula.
Yeah. And we curate it and make sure that it's only the interesting stuff that we care about, because there's news that we just skip.
Yeah. Starting out with, as we always start out with, backwards compatible games.
Yeah. And this one is a really big surprise to me, because after they did the Master Chief Collection, I kind of figured that backwards compatibility for Halo was off the table, because they would be like, no, if you want to play those games, you can just buy here. Yeah. So we have Halo
3.
Halo 3.
Yep.
ODST and Halo 4.
That's right.
So Halo 2 was already backwards
Halo
compatible?
2 was already backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Halo 3, these games were not. I didn't like ODST personally. I thought that it was too different than the rest of the. They tried to do like a Halo Call of Duty, where it's like, look at your cool HUD and look at the cool things you can do, and almost like the Arkham. What was it called? It's the detective mode in Arkham, where you can click that on and you can, they had that in the game, and to me it took away from the fun and running around and blowing up stuff.
Is it ODST or is it Reach, where you're playing not Master Chief and you're on the planet and like it's after Earth's already been hit?
I believe that is ODST, because you're not Master Chief in ODST.
Okay, so I like that idea. I like the idea of taking something, because the story of Halo has always been like this massive, grandiose. I mean, it's a literal galaxy spanning adventure.
Yeah, it is.
And so like it's got some of the same issues that I have with like Star Wars. It's like, okay, not everything is about the Skywalker family and only the Skywalker family is where everything happens. So Master Chief can be in a lot of places, but the story behind it and the lore of the Halo universe is way more interesting than can be encompassed with a single character.
I agree.
So I like that idea, and I'm glad that this is a game that people will get to preserve and get to have that experience if they want.
Unfortunately, it's not a very good game, but you get to do that. You play an orbital drop shock trooper.
Yeah, but you could watch the videos.
You could watch the videos and enjoy the story and everything, which is completely fine. This week we didn't get to make up games, which is unfortunate.
No, we knew what all of those were.
We knew what those
Ish,
are.
at least.
If we don't know what a backwards compatible game is, we have to make it up on the spot.
Which those are fun.
Which can be fun. Speaking of making up things on the spot, we're not going to make this up on the spot, because the totes for this week, the topic of the episode show, which will be later on in the podcast or a separate video on YouTube, is your favorite turn-based RPG. Yeah, so
those are my jam.
And
I have thoughts on that.
And a counter question: are turn-based RPGs dead?
No.
We'll talk about that later. First, we're going to talk about Steam.
It's more to discuss.
And the review bombs. So Steam's rolled out a new a way of basically looking at review averages to take a look at how games did. You can see if people if people enjoyed it, and if people came in and started review bombing all at once, you could really easily tell through that metric.
Yeah, and one of the things that Steam said when they were talking about this was they said that overall review bombs can look detrimental, like if you just visit if you're just visiting the page, but over time these are bumps that don't affect the overall score as much as people would think they do. Because even, you know, like 10,000 reviews, unless it's a very, very small game that gets bombed.
Yeah.
And so this is a response to what happened with Firewatch, because Firewatch got review bombed after they said that PewDiePie couldn't play it, and
They were in the wrong because he is creating new content, and you don't have to. This isn't like trying to sell knockoff Disney Mickey Mouse merchandise.
Yeah, he's creating his own thing,
Yeah.
and so this is not how copyright laws are supposed to be applied.
Exactly.
It's going to be really interesting. Like with the H3H3 thing a couple weeks ago, that laws about the internet are being defined, and precedents are being set by people who, for the most part, don't understand the internet.
Yeah.
And that's...
We're also reaching a point where we can't write laws quick enough to keep up with technology. For instance, I don't know if you know about this with when it comes to cell phones. The way the federal law is, I don't know about Texas. I know California and some other states are like this. If you're an officer can't ask for you to unlock your phone.
Right.
An officer can't ask for your password. An officer can take your hand and put it on the thumbprint.
Yeah.
So it's completely legal for them to do that and unlock your phone, because there's no law that states an officer cannot put your thumb
Manipulate
on a thumbprint reader.
Right.
So if you have a thumbprint reader and you get pulled over, anything on your phone is fair game. If that officer did that.
Yeah.
And so
So, for those of you who have thumbprint readers, turn your phone off, because it will ask for the password the first time you turn your phone back on.
Yes, yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look into it, the new iPhone update has I think you click 5 times, and it turns off your thumbprint reader.
Okay. I don't know about that one,
I'll have
but
to
I do
double
know
check
that...
it, but I think that was rolled out because of that. Because, yeah, if you have, there's good cops, bad cops, that's fine.
Right.
But if you have an officer who knows that part of the law and really wants to get after whatever, then they can do that. And whatever they find on that phone, they didn't need a search warrant for.
Yeah.
Because they didn't take it, blah blah blah. So, anyways, we'll that's a different story.
So back to review bombing.
Back to review bombing. Review bombing is a bad thing. I think that especially with Steam, because this is not like Metacritic and others where you have a specific okay, these are only the official reviews from the reviewers who are deemed worthy.
And so it's kind of a lackluster response from Steam overall, because they're not really changing anything. They're just giving more information. I'm all about giving it more information, but I don't think that they are taking enough responsibility for allowing people to do this.
Yeah.
Because people can, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you can buy the game, return it, and review it.
Yes, you can.
And so that's a problem.
Because
fix that loophole, and then at the very least, only people who have actually bought the game.
They have to launch the. They have to buy. To me, they should buy the game and be able to have actually played the game. That's my opinion on it. Same thing with Netflix changed their. They have the star. The star system, and now they don't have that.
Right.
Because everyone starred Amy Schumer's special.
Well, it was bad.
It was very bad. It was very bad. I watched half of it, and over half of the time I was watching half of it, I was like, "This isn't funny."
Yeah.
And I don't mind raunchy humor, like Sarah Silverman and others
Sarah
that do it
Silverman's
very well.
great.
And Amy Schumer was like, "Okay, this is repetitive, and it's only funny to women who think that." Never mind. I'll go into that rant another time because that gets vulgar.
But the general takeaway from that particular section,
She was not funny. That's the takeaway.
but more importantly, Sarah Silverman is.
Sarah Silverman is, and she's great as Vanellope. And speaking of things that are like Nintendo, because
And also, Ollie, I don't remember which one she is. You know about that, right?
no,
Okay, so Andy and Ollie are Sarah Silverman and her brother.
oh yes,
Yeah, and they are my favorite.
I forgot
every
about
time
that.
they
Bob's
come
Burgers,
on, every time they come on screen on Bob's Burgers, I'm like, yay, Andy and Ollie. They're my favorite.
They're awesome. So if you have a Switch or if you're a fan of classic games, then there's
And it's June 11th when you're watching this. Then play it.
golf.
Yeah. This is unlockable on June 11th. the anniversary of Iwata's death.
Well, I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah,
I knew.
See,
that
that's
it was
one of the
on
other things,
Switch.
because like both of us have our own news sources, and both of us learn things on our own show.
So NES Golf, the classic black box golf edition, where you play. I'm assuming that's Mario Jumpman Mario. There, he looks a little pudgy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is on every Nintendo Switch right now.
Right.
And people have jailbroken theirs or somehow found. I don't know exactly if they full out jailbroken it yet, but I don't think they have.
It's the homebrew community.
It's the homebrew community, has found that. Yeah, it's not rolled out. I mean, what I meant to say was I was trying to make sure to carefully not say that it is jailbroken, because not everyone can jailbreak their Switch right now and play it.
Right.
Which sucks, because I want to play this.
Yeah.
But I mean, to honor Iwata, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
so
love it.
And he also did programming on that, so that's the connection to Iwata there.
Yeah.
But I think it's fun that that one, they have a Nintendo emulator already on there.
Yep.
So let us buy and play games.
Yeah.
But two, the legacy that Iwata left is incredibly important, cannot be overstated, and so it's really special to get to see them honoring their legacy and their history.
Yeah, it's very respectful and important for them to do that.
Yeah,
good stuff. So the game Fortnite, if you haven't played it, is it was an early access game. You could pay to play, and it's going to be free to play, and all this blah blah blah. So people were playing it online recently, and realized that they were actually playing with people from Xbox and PlayStation all together. Yeah, which is hilarious.
Yeah. And they figured that out because you can't do spaces in PSN names.
Correct. So when a user popped up with spaces, they realized, okay, something's not quite right here.
Yeah.
Which they later turned off. The makers of Fortnite turned off and said, "We're sorry, it was a configuration issue. We've corrected that."
Yeah.
Which I think is because they have the ability to do it, but Sony's not okay with it.
Yeah. Sony's not giving them permission.
Yes.
And
they don't want to burn the bridge with Sony.
Right. So, and I mean, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
But the other thing about this is that this shows Sony, all you have to do is say it's okay. Sony, please say it's okay and let us play with each other.
Because we will.
Yeah, and so Fortnite's had a really interesting week overall.
Yeah.
Because that went down, and
then they announced Fortnite Battle Royale, which is the PUBG inspired, drop in 100 people, just survive, which, PUBG was a mod on Arma 3, similar to how DayZ was a mod on Arma 2. You have games that are taking existing games and messing with them to create their own property. So Fortnite Battle Royale was announced, and PUBG is threatening lawsuit now, saying that you are infringing, you're copying PUBG. It's too much like our game, so we're doing a cease and desist and blah blah blah, all the legal crap. But my problem with it is there's a handful of problems with it. First and foremost, PUBG was a mod for Arma 3. Yeah. So PUBG was, and you can argue the fact that one of the guys that PlayerUnknown worked on Arma 3. You can argue that. But that doesn't matter.
But that doesn't mean that he has the rights to Arma 3.
He doesn't. So the fact that you have a game that started as a mod for another game, it is the biggest game right now. It's the biggest game in the PC community. You have a game that got that much traction, and then you have someone else who's like, I'm going to make a game like that because that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a concept. The 100 battle royale based, and go watch that movie if you haven't. And like just the idea of last man standing type thing is something that has kind of gone away from, because it used to be that whenever back when I was playing FPSs online and such, it was you died, you were dead, and then you spectated, and it was a team against a team. And I like the temporary alliances that form, and like I'm really hoping that data is being pulled for psychologists to analyze, because
Yeah.
there's some interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But the idea of Last Man Standing is not that. I mean, it falls for me under the category of things that are natural enough.
Yeah.
And logical enough that that's how you do it. It's
Yeah.
like when people try to copyright, like if you try to copyright a screen on a thing you hold in your hand, it's like no, this is where we've moved to.
Yeah, and they don't have a copyright on a Last Man Standing 100-man battle game.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's generic enough, and you have situations like with the Dark Souls franchise. You had a game that came out and they did something in mashup that was very unique.
Yeah.
Well, if another game comes out that has a similar, let's make a hardcore action RPG where where death really matters.
Yeah.
If you take those things and you're like, I'm going to make another game, that's become a genre now.
Yeah, and it's something. This is how culture moves forward.
Yeah.
Is like all these different people bringing ideas off of each other, building on them, and those are going to branch in different ways. But there are going to be some things that come back, and people are in general just going to be like, yes, this is a wonderful idea, and they'll split off and do the other things.
First-person shooters were that way. I mean,
people
like
at
Doom
first,
and Wolfenstein, you're like, okay, I guess it does these games.
Yeah, at first, everything that got released as a first-person shooter, they were all called Doom clones.
Yeah.
But now there's like 12 different kinds of those, and Far Cry and Call of Duty are not Doom clones, and they're barely even the same. It's just kind of the perspective and you shoot at stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a frivolous lawsuit, and in this situation, Fortnite doesn't necessarily have the money to fight it, and so I am concerned that this could be a case where they just bring all the money that they've made off of PUBG to bear and crush the little guy.
I feel like I may pitch this to my father-in-law. My father-in-law was a lawyer. I may ask if he would be willing to be our legal correspondent on these kind of things, because he did business law.
I would really like that.
Yeah, so I
have some questions.
I may ask him if he would if he'd be a correspondent for us, because
and then and then we can say according to our legal team.
Exactly, because we would have a legal team at that point
Of one.
Yes, because he did business law and would be at least familiar with a lot of this is new grounds, but he would understand the concepts that are being applied. Yeah, he would. So I may check into that, because I think it'd be a cool asset to have.
Next up we have the Tribeca Games Festival.
Yeah.
It's coming in April. Kojima's going to be the keynote speaker, but they've got like Ken Levine and a bunch of other like famous names from gaming in general.
Yeah. This is the first time they're doing a gaming convention, if you will. That they normally do. Tribeca does the film festival.
Right, and they've had like panels for games that were related to movies, and they've recognized that this $60 billion industry might be worth noticing.
Yeah, a little bit.
So this is a really exciting thing. This is coming in April. It's Tribeca, so it'll be in California. But
yeah, I'm happy about it though. I'm happy because it's being recognized by people who, because video games are art, and that means that you have really good art, and you have really bad art. But the really good art, or even the interesting things that people are trying to do different, to push boundaries, is interesting and should be analyzed as such, because there's a lot that can be gleaned from that.
I also like the fact that so PAX is different from E3, is different from Rooster Teeth, or what do they call the Rooster Teeth one? One in Austin?
I know which one you're talking about, but I don't.
But yeah, there's like a bunch of different gaming conventions that are focused on specific niche areas.
Sure.
And Tribeca, I feel, will look at it as from the artistic perspective, and I think that'll be a really interesting thing to see how that plays out and what kind of alliances are formed there.
Yeah, because we've learned with The Last of Us and many other games that video games can be an amazing way to tell stories, and sometimes they're a better way to tell a story than a movie. Yeah. excited about that. We got some upcoming games for you as well, though.
Yeah, this week is Tokyo Game Show, and Sony had a presser before the deal, and they gave us a ton of really interesting news. And so, Dragon's Crown and Final Fantasy IX are games that were on the PS2 and PS1 respectively, or PS3 and PS1 respectively. And Dragon's Crown is an absolutely amazing game. I love that game so much, and I beat the crap out of it with all the and like all the ludicrously proportioned and like magical beat 'em ups is something you don't get very often. And so it was really fun to get to have that. The story's fun, and the overarching concepts are good, and then just the game is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I love Vanillaware's art, and I'm really looking forward to 13 Sentinels, even though that's going to be completely different. But Dragon's Crown Pro is coming to PS4. I played it on PS3 and Vita, and it's just a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX is probably my second or third favorite Final Fantasy.
I can see that.
Because it was the last. It was the last of kind of the core games for me.
Yeah.
Because 10, 12, 13, they went off in very much a tech something else kind of way.
Yeah.
And and Final Fantasy IX was very much a throwback to the original 3 on Nintendo. And those were, hey, you're a couple of heroes and you're going to save the world and collect crystals and protect them from the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then they did some interesting things with it at the end. But Final Fantasy IX is a fantastic story. The characters, except for Quina, are wonderful. The villains are wonderful, and it's just a great, pretty, really funny game.
Yeah.
Didn't
the Silent drop on PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just kind of said, oh yeah, by the way, this is out. Now.
Right now.
Right now. And so that was a really cool thing. They're also doing a remaster of Zone of the Enders 2.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know was a thing. I only knew Zone of the Enders 1.
Yeah.
Came with a demo for Metal Gear Solid 2, and that was the only reason that I bought it. Yeah. But yeah, and then that's also going to have a VR component, which is amazing because mechs and VR are a marriage made in heaven, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We also have Earth Defense Force 5. It's subtitled Iron Rain. And this is the you defend the Earth against the bugs are coming to get you.
Yep.
And you got to shoot and blow them all up.
Yep. And I played an EDF game, and I get what they're doing. To me, it didn't have enough of a hook when it came to the story. I got the gameplay. It's interesting. It's questionably fun. But
questionably fun.
The game that I played did not have enough of a story, enough of a reason to play. Gears of War is very similar. Hey, these things are, well, in Gears of War, they're actually coming up from underneath, but you have these disgusting things that are attacking, and they're taking over, and we have to kill them, and they're huge, but I didn't get enough of a story. Hopefully this one has more of a story to it. Okay,
so I can actually tell you a little bit about the story for this one. So this is, they've been chronological, so, up till now. And so by the time we get to 5, basically this is kind of a humanity is on its last legs type of thing.
Okay.
These are like the last pockets of humanity defending. And so I guess it assumes you lost all the other games. I don't know what the endings of the other games were, and I would hope it wasn't, oh, our battalion got squished. Because that would be a depressing ending, especially if it's hard.
Well, just because your battalion did really well doesn't mean the entire war,
Yeah, but they always like to make us important.
Of course they do.
So yeah, EDF 5 is going to be a thing where you're just you're going up against overwhelming odds, and they've already basically taken over most of the planet, and they're hunting down the last remnants.
It's like Destiny 2.
Yeah, and I like that idea.
Yeah. That is cool. That is cool. We also got Left Alive, which I'm not very familiar with. Are you familiar with Left Alive?
Nobody is. Because the trailer that's playing right now is all the information that we have so far.
Yeah.
This is a new game by Square Enix. And I'm really excited that they announced it because Square Enix is... They can be hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well, they are hit or miss.
Yeah.
They can be hit, I guess, is the way I would phrase that. But yeah, Left Alive is a concept that that just looks interesting, and when I know more, I'll be able to tell whether it's something that I'm intrigued enough by to check out.
Sure.
But new properties from Square to me is a lot more interesting than rehashing the stuff. Like I Am Setsuna was, you know, a throwback mechanically, but it was a new story, a new IP, a new world that they'd created, and their world building abilities are pretty exceptional.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what this universe holds.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, I've played a couple of hours of a couple of different Monster Hunters.
Yeah.
I've pre-ordered this one.
I love Monster.
And you and I will be able to play it.
Yes, finally. I have not pre-ordered yet, but I will be. I love Monster Hunter. I love the world, but the Monster Hunters, Monster Hunter to me, a lot of them had very repetitive world, very repetitive sections. But one thing that I loved about it was tracking down these giant beasts, grinding out specific, to if you need more potions or you're needing to upgrade different things to go out and hunt, because that's the whole point. Go out and hunt. I don't know. I'm assuming this one also has the farm. In the other Monster Hunter games, you could create a farm to plant seeds and to be able to grow things as well. But obviously, you can't do that with monsters. They're not domesticated animals, so you have to go hunt those.
But speaking of domesticated animals, one of the cat guys.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what they're called. But
the
the cat guys have been a staple of the Monster Hunter series, and now you get a cat guy companion that goes around with you.
Can you spec him? I wonder if you can.
I know you can do equipment.
Okay.
I don't know if they told us anything about that yet. But
that's fine.
But this is. I've only played it single player before, because I don't like playing with other people. But I'll play games with you. And so the ability to go out and check out this world, and it's gorgeous. Because they went for a while, they were exclusively handheld.
Yeah.
And so the graphics had an upper limit, and now the upper limit is about tripled.
Yeah, at least.
So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm hopeful you can, because you can give him different equipment. So I'm hoping you could give him a ranged weapon or a close weapon, because I don't care if he has low HP. If you give him a sword, make him go fight. Basically pull aggro. So if the beast is going after him, then you can go around and get him.
See, as a cat person, I can't be on board with that. My cat is going to be sitting way back there,
just shooting arrows
and shooting arrows or throwing stuff or I don't know, healing me.
Healing will work.
Yeah, so
that's completely fine.
My cat is going to be way out of possible hurt and die range, so that he can run away when I die.
Good stuff.
But yeah, we'll go there and we'll bring our cats and we'll stream that and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Speaking of going wherever you want to do and playing with anyone you want to play with, the Minecraft Play Anywhere, Play Everywhere, whatever update is out, which was pushed out to PlayStation and to Xbox.
And it's anywhere with a separate paragraph for all the asterisks that they have to put on there, because it's not on Nintendo, it's not on PlayStation. No. They say that they're trying to put it on Nintendo, but they haven't yet, and they're trying to. So
I thought it was almost out on PlayStation. I'll have to look into that, because I'm wanting to play with my nephew.
Yeah,
I'm going to create a server on this PC. Mm-hmm. So then he can access it and we can build stuff together.
So it's currently just PCs and mobiles and wherever else
Xbox.
they put it.
Yeah. So he has an Xbox. So if you have an Xbox, PC, mobile, you can all play together that way. So I would suggest take a PC, launch the server doesn't take that much memory. Launch the server and then go play with your friends, because I'm going to basically make it so he can jump in and he can play and build stuff with me.
Yeah. So are y'all gonna build a Halo?
We may build a Halo,
because the assets from the Halo universe have been it's basically skins
Yes.
because Minecraft, the game remains the same, and you can build whatever. But they put like Master Chief and Cortana and a bunch of other skins in there, and so that's some fun stuff to be able to see.
It's really cool. This was on the Xbox version already because Xbox,
Right.
But now they're putting that out on other platforms, which is a big deal. For Xbox to push that out on other properties, and for those hardware manufacturers being okay with having Halo on whatever. I mean, you're not actually playing the game Halo, so I think that's
Right,
really where they're
but-
like, yeah,
but
whatever.
still.
I mean, it's cool that it's open like that, to be able to do that. I do like a couple of the skins, but it throws me off when it changes the textures for the resources. Like, it makes sense if you're just building stuff. You're like, oh, I want it to look like King's Landing, because there's like a fantasy, there's a Game of Thrones, there's Skyrim, but...
Wasn't it already fantasy? Didn't that kind of how it started, fantasy horror?
What?
Because it's zombies and swords.
Minecraft is, yeah, but it's like playful.
yeah.
It's like playful. Sorry, there's not a Game of Thrones, so there's a Skyrim texture pack, so you could build castles and whatever.
Right.
But whenever I'm like mining, it throws me off, because I've been playing Minecraft for... 9 years, 10 years now.
Jeez.
I've been playing Minecraft since the alpha, so I'm used to seeing certain minerals a certain way. It's not bad, but I like the fantasy and the I like that the Skyrim pack is one of my favorites, because the chickens and everything just look a little more realistic, even in their cartoon forms.
Yeah, because realism is what you go for in Minecraft.
It's exactly what I go for.
So speaking of realism, Danger Zone, where you crash cars into things and explode everything you possibly can. They are putting out so many more maps. The game launched with 12, and so I've blown up a bunch of cars there.
Yeah.
But they are building it. They're keeping on working on that, and so they're saying that there's, by I think they said December 18th, they're going to have 38 total maps, and those are going to kind of roll out over the next couple of months while they tweak them, let people play with them, fix them, and go from there. And so this is kind of like a Yacht Club games type thing. It's like, well, I already bought the game, but cool, give me more stuff.
We've said on here, certain games I'll keep buying because I want to keep giving the developers money and keep them afloat, because I want to see more art from them.
Well, I want to see Burnout from them.
Yeah.
And the more money I can give Three Fields Entertainment, the more likely it is that they will make a Burnout game, because EA is not going to give me one.
Because that's how the economy works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great stuff. I haven't played this yet, but I appreciate them and need to play more. I still haven't played Dangerous Golf. I have no excuse.
Dangerous Golf is so fun.
I have no excuse, but I haven't played Dangerous Golf, so I need to play that.
The girls will occasionally ask me to play the golf blowing up game.
Yes.
And, we live in such a wonderful time when that is a valid request from my kids.
Yeah. So that's all for the gaming news this week in the roundup. So let us know in the comments what you think about all those. If there's a specific game that you would like to see a developer do that they haven't done in a while, just don't mention Half-Life 3. But anybody else, message on there. We'll talk to you later.